Hello guys, and welcome to my very first audio commentary of Starcraft 2. My name is Whiztard. Of course that's not my real name, that's my in-game name and also a screen name that I use for a lot of things. I am Whiztard and I'm playing the red Terran in this corner, and in the other corner we have Archtect, the blue Zerg, of Doom. Actually I find that pretty. Well, no, like, Zerg's usually, characterized with being red, and Terran's usually the blue one, so, just a funny thing. Alright, so anyways, I did get into a StarCraft 2 beta, as you guys can see, and I actually got into the beta by entering a contest. Very fortunate of me to be able to get it, and the contest was basically a Twitter contest. Basically, Blizzard had a Twitter account where they basically asked for people to send in a tweet telling them why they deserve a key in under 150 characters, and I had quite a bit of fun thinking about a clever way to get myself a key, and I'll post in the description word for word for what I said, and actually not every single word of it is true, except that half of it is true for my brother and half of it is true for myself, so you'll be able to see that in the description to the right. And right now I'm setting out my first scout, and as you can see I am just abusing that rally point to be able to macro back in my base while I'm doing that. So Starcraft 2, so far Starcraft 2 is very good. It feels a lot like the first game, and it changes the formula up so that it's not just StarCraft 1 done over again. It's, well, for some people it might be, for some people spectating, it might look like if it's an exact clone with some graphics updates, but for people like me, I mean, like, there's so many changes to the game. There's new units, there's just new changes, just changes everywhere. There's actually 6 starting miners, unlike the previous 4, and each one gathers 5 minerals. So basically they gather a lot faster than before because they only hold 5, and yeah, there's a lot of changes. There's this queen right here, there's new macro mechanics everywhere. The Zerg have a queen which could basically have 4 extra larvae on the hatchery, so Zerg isn't as hatchery dependent as before, because back then, like, if you guys know July Zerg popularized the 3 hatch build, which is basically going for fast hatchery, spawning pool, and then a hatchery. So basically that allowed for very fast economic boost and more larvae, but now Zerg doesn't even need to do that. Zerg could just create a queen after making a spawning pool and just spam the larvae, and it'll be able to have the same effect as more than 2 hatcheries, like 2.5, maybe less. Well, and also you don't need to spend the extra money to produce a second hatchery or a third hatchery. Now, playing Terran, Terran's pretty fun, and I find that Terran has a lot more diversity in this game than in other games, because basically back then in Terran versus Zerg, it's basically medics and marines, and that was pretty boring. Like, you barely see anyone go mech. Well, actually I guess you could say the same thing about how StarCraft is right now. Most people go bio, but it's not the same bio combination that you see before. It's actually, yeah, it's not the same as what you see before. Like, most Terrans now in StarCraft 2 go M&M build, and that's not the same as medics and marines. That's actually marines and marauders right here. Oh, and I've been going off in too much of a tangent here. I've been talking about StarCraft 2 and not about the replay. Alright, so anyways, there's 2 entrances to every main base here, and right now I'm trying to defend my destructible rocks by setting a siege tank here to see if I could outrange the roach, but unfortunately for me, siege tanks can't outrange cast a rock to hit the roach. So these roaches are going to be able to go in and just destroy these destructible rocks here. And so, a build that I've been going for lately is a barracks, a factory, and a starport. And basically, this allows me to just go for fast drops. And you might see this often in Starcraft 1. Well, maybe not that often, but and right here, I'm going for a tech lab because I want to get out banshees to be able to